Your city knows where you are right now. It knows where you were an hour ago. It knows your daily routine, your shopping habits, who you meet with. It can predict where you'll be tomorrow. Sound like dystopian science fiction? It's not. It's called a smart city, and they're being built right now. Today, we're diving into the dark side of smart cities, the trade-off between efficiency and privacy, between convenience and surveillance, and why this might be the most important urban planning debate of our generation. Let's start with what a smart city actually is. At its core, it's a city that uses technology and data to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and enhance quality of life. Sensors everywhere, monitoring traffic, air quality, energy use, waste levels, noise, crowds. Cameras on every corner, not just for security, but for data collection, facial recognition, license plate readers, movement tracking. All this data feeds into centralized systems that analyze patterns, predict problems, and optimize city operations in real time. Sounds efficient, right? And in many ways it is. Smart traffic lights that adjust timing based on real-time traffic flow, street lights that dim when no one's around to save energy, waste bins that signal when they're full so trucks only collect when needed, public transit that reroutes based on demand. These systems work. They save money. They reduce emissions. They make cities run smoother. But here's the problem. All of this requires surveillance, constant, comprehensive, city-wide surveillance. And once that infrastructure exists, it doesn't just collect traffic data, it collects data on you. Let's look at some real examples. Singapore is often held up as the model smart city. They have sensors everywhere. Cameras track vehicle and pedestrian movement. They monitor crowds. They even have sensors in elderly citizens' homes to detect falls or health emergencies. The result? Incredibly efficient public services. Traffic flows smoothly. Buses arrive on time. The city runs like clockwork. But Singapore is also one of the most surveilled places on Earth. The government has access to vast amounts of data on every resident, where you go, what you do, who you associate with. And Singapore isn't a democracy in the Western sense. Dissent is limited. Privacy is not a cultural priority. In Singapore, this might be accepted. But what happens when this model is exported to countries with different values, or worse, to authoritarian regimes? Let's talk about China. China is building hundreds of smart cities, and they're not subtle about the surveillance. Facial recognition cameras are everywhere. They can identify individuals and crowds, track their movements across the city, and link them to digital profiles, your social credit score, your purchasing history, your social connections. China's smart cities are integrated with the social credit system. If the system flags you as a troublemaker, you might be denied access to public transit, banned from certain areas, your face on a public shame screen. This isn't theoretical. It's happening right now in cities like Shenzhen and Hangzhou. The technology is impressive. The efficiency is real. Crime rates have dropped. Traffic is managed better. Services are more responsive. But at what cost? Now, let's talk about democracies. Because smart city technology isn't just in Singapore and China. It's in London, New York, Barcelona, Toronto, cities we think of as respecting privacy and civil liberties. London has more surveillance cameras per capita than almost any city on Earth, over 500,000 cameras, many equipped with facial recognition. The stated purpose? Public safety, crime prevention, counterterrorism. But these systems collect data on everyone, not just criminals. Your face, your location, your daily patterns, all stored in databases controlled by governments and private companies. And here's the thing about surveillance infrastructure. Once it exists, it's hard to limit how it's used. A system installed to catch terrorists can be used to track protesters. A system meant to optimize traffic can be used to monitor political dissidents. A system designed for efficiency can become a tool for control. And the data never goes away. It accumulates, gets linked, gets analyzed. Patterns emerge that you never intended to reveal. Let's get specific. Here are some things smart cities can and do track. Your movements, where you go, when, and how often. Your routine, your social connections based on who you're near. Your behavior. Facial recognition can detect emotions. AI can flag suspicious behavior, loitering, unusual routes, deviations from your normal pattern. Your consumption, what you buy, where you shop, how much you spent. your energy use, your waste production, your communications. In some smart cities, public Wi-Fi networks log connections. Smart streetlights can monitor devices. Your phone is constantly pinging nearby sensors. All of this creates a digital profile, a shadow version of you made entirely of data. And this profile can be used to predict your future behavior, assess your risk level, or target you with advertising, or worse. Now, let's be fair. Proponents of smart cities have real arguments. First, public space isn't private. When you're walking down a street, you're visible to everyone. Security cameras aren't creating surveillance, they're just recording what's already public. Second, the data is anonymized. Systems track patterns, not individuals. You're just a data point in a traffic flow model. Third, the benefits are massive. Reduced crime, lower emissions, better resource allocation, faster emergency response, lives saved. Fourth, you can opt out. Don't like smart city surveillance? Don't live in a smart city. Move somewhere rural. These arguments aren't entirely wrong, but they're incomplete. Let's break them down. Yes, public space is public, but there's a difference between being seen by passersby and being tracked, recorded, and analyzed by AI systems that never forget. Humans have limited memory and attention. Surveillance systems don't. Yes, data is sometimes anonymized, but anonymization isn't foolproof. Studies have shown that so-called anonymous data can often be re-identified. Location data is especially vulnerable. If I know where you live and where you work, I can identify you even in an anonymous dataset. Yes, the benefits are real, but we need to ask, are they worth the cost? Is slightly better traffic management worth comprehensive surveillance? Is predictive policing worth the risk of a surveillance state? And no, you can't really opt out. Smart cities are becoming the norm, not the exception. Jobs, opportunities, and culture concentrate in cities. Telling people to just leave isn't realistic. So here's the real question. Can we have smart cities without surveillance? Can we get the efficiency benefits without the privacy costs? Some people think yes. There are proposals for privacy-preserving smart city technology. Edge computing. Instead of sending all data to centralized servers, process it locally. A smart traffic light analyzes traffic patterns right there and adjusts timing without sending individual vehicle data anywhere. Differential privacy. Add mathematical noise to data so individual actions can't be traced, but aggregate patterns remain accurate. Data minimization. Only collect what's necessary. Delete data after it's used. Don't store long-term databases of people's movements. Decentralization. Instead of one city government controlling all the data, distribute it. Give citizens control over their own data. Transparency and oversight. Make it clear what data is collected, how it's used, and who has access. Create independent bodies to audit smart city systems. These solutions exist. They're technically feasible, but they're rarely implemented. Why? Because centralized, comprehensive surveillance is more effective. It's easier, it's cheaper, and it's more valuable. Data is valuable. Governments want it for control and optimization. Companies want it for profit. And once the infrastructure exists, the incentive is always to collect more, not less. This is the core problem with smart cities. The technology itself isn't neutral. It's designed to collect data, and data collection tends to expand, not contract. Let's look at a cautionary tale. Toronto's Quayside project. In 2017, Sidewalk Labs, a subsidiary of Google's parent company Alphabet, proposed to build a smart neighborhood in Toronto. It would be a model for the future of urban living. Sensors everywhere, data-driven design, optimized for efficiency. But as details emerged, concerns grew. Who would own the data? How would it be used? Could residents opt out? Would the data be shared with third parties, sold to advertisers, handed to governments? Sidewalk Labs promised privacy protections, but the proposals were vague. Trust us, they said. We'll figure it out. The public didn't trust them. Activists pushed back. Privacy advocates raised alarms. And in 2020, Sidewalk Labs abandoned the project. This is significant. Toronto is a liberal democracy, a city that values privacy and civil liberties. And even there, the public rejected a smart city project because the privacy risks were too high. Now imagine this technology in a place with weaker privacy protections, or no democracy at all. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Smart city technology is a double-edged sword. In the right hands, it can make cities more livable, sustainable, and efficient. In the wrong hands, it's a surveillance tool more powerful than anything in history. And we're building it right now, fast. without adequate debate, without strong privacy protections, without democratic oversight. The decisions we make in the next decade will determine whether smart cities become utopias or dystopias, whether they empower citizens or control them. So what should we do? First, we need transparency. Cities should be required to disclose what data they collect, how it's used, and who has access. No secret surveillance programs. Second, we need oversight. Independent bodies should audit smart city systems, not just tech experts, but privacy advocates, civil liberties groups, and citizens. Third, we need strong legal protections. Laws that limit data collection, require deletion of personal data, prohibit certain uses like social credit systems or predictive policing based on biased algorithms. Fourth, we need public participation. Citizens should have a say in whether their city becomes a smart city, what data is collected, how it's used. This can't be decided by governments and tech companies alone. Fifth, we need to prioritize privacy by design. Build smart city systems that minimize data collection from the start, use privacy-preserving technologies, default to transparency and citizen control. And finally, we need to remember that not every problem requires a technological solution. Sometimes the low-tech option is better. Sometimes efficiency isn't worth the cost. Here's my take. Smart cities aren't inherently bad. The technology can do a lot of good, but we need to be extremely careful about how it's implemented. Because once a surveillance infrastructure is built, it's almost impossible to dismantle. Once data is collected, it's hard to delete. Once norms shift towards acceptance of surveillance, they're hard to shift back. We're at a crossroads. We can build smart cities that respect privacy, empower citizens, and use technology for genuine public benefit. Or we can build surveillance states disguised as efficient cities. The choice is ours, but we need to make it now, before the infrastructure is locked in and the norms are set. So, here's my question for you. Would you live in a smart city? Would you trade some privacy for better services? Where's your line? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think this issue matters, share this video, because most people don't realize how much surveillance is already in their cities, and they should. If you want more on cities, technology, and the future of urban life, hit subscribe. We're covering autonomous vehicles next, and trust me, the privacy issues get even more complicated. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.